Hello and welcome to Frontrunner Motorsport, and I watched the Russian Grand Prix, although it was a few hours ago. Unfortunately, I have been awake for I think it's nearly 36 hours now. I'm very tired and I wasn't really paying attention to the race, but I did watch it. I didn't fall asleep, which is surprising. I don't like Sochi, don't like the Russian Grand Prix. It's good news that in a couple of years there will be a new Russian track. Hopefully it'll be more exciting, but I've never enjoyed any race at Sochi. It's just a dull track. So with my feelings on the track out the way early, we have plenty to discuss. It was an interesting qualifying. We have stuff from the race, so remember to subscribe and let's begin.
Welcome to Frontrunner Motorsport.
So actually, there wasn't a whole lot that happened in this race, but there were intriguing things going on, which I feel I say about most Grand Prix, where, you know, stuff's happening, but the actual races themselves aren't great entertainment. This was an interesting one just because qualifying was so mad. Did not expect Lando Norris to be on pole. Did not really expect Carlos Sainz to be next to him, and I certainly didn't expect George Russell to be in third. On pure pace as well, with Hamilton fourth after his several costly errors in qualifying. Verstappen's at the back, Bottas is near the back, Leclerc's down the back somewhere. They're all going to be charging through. It looked like it was going to be an exciting race, and it had its moments. Hamilton had a bad start, dropped to 7th. It looked chaotic. I think everyone was very lucky to not lose a front wing at the start. And then the race sort of settled down into the DRS train we have sort of become accustomed to this season. And Hamilton struggled to make up places at the start, but Verstappen was flying through the field. He got past Bottas, which was surprising. He got past Leclerc as well, made a few other places up, but once he got behind Alonso, that was kind of the end of the progress for a while. And you had the early pit stoppers, which turned out to be a mistake. Although, actually, Carlos Sainz did alright out of it. Lando Norris sort of led the second... Well, Lando Norris got past Carlos Sainz and led the second half of the race. Looked like he was going to take the win with only a few laps left, and then it started raining. And he made a mistake. He made the wrong choice. Big shame because he really deserves a win. He's had a fantastic year. Honestly, he is driver of the year, bar none. But this could have been a race win had the weather held off, because it looked like he had Hamilton at hand. As it is, Hamilton won by nearly a minute, although, of course, other things sort of went into that. But Max Verstappen, fantastic drive, 20th to 2nd, keeps the championship so tight. I think it's only a couple of points in it still. And there isn't that much longer left, it's only a few months. What, 6-7 races, something like that? It's tight at the front, it's tight in the constructors. There was no real incidents during the race. There's a few spins here and there. Obviously Lando Norris spun. We had Stroll spin, Leclerc went off. I think Tsunoda or Gasly spun as well. But there wasn't a whole lot of overtaking. There's sort of a few DRS passes here and there. Sort of enough to keep you invested, I guess. So Hamilton takes his 100th win, and of course there's going to be 1,000 news articles about it tomorrow, about how he is the greatest of all time. He still isn't. Other than that, I mean, nothing really changes. Hamilton has a slight lead in the championship. Bottas is in third, with Norris not far behind still. Perez, I think he can do better. I think he's still struggling a little bit. He never really challenged Hamilton, even when he was right behind him. He just can't close that last little gap up. He needs to do better in qualifying. Really needs to start improving in the races, because he's 5th in the championship and Carlos Sainz is not far behind him. Ferrari, with their new engine upgrade, they did look, I guess, slightly better, but they were still kind of where you expected them. But Carlos Sainz put in a great performance to get 2nd in qualifying, finished 3rd in the race as well. Looked like he'd thrown it away with the early pit stop. I think the intermediate tyres bailed him out a little bit. Same goes for Bottas. Valtteri Bottas was nowhere all race, down into like 13th or 14th. All of a sudden the rain starts coming down, that's it, he's up into 5th. Very, very lucky, and still not really good enough for the car he has under him. Good points for Ricciardo again, with Norris as well, so McLaren, they're doing alright in the constructors, keeping ahead of Ferrari. Alonso scored good points in 6th, he's doing a good job. Raikkonen had a good result. George Russell, another point for Williams. That's what, his 4th points finished this year, so he is doing a brilliant job. It could have been more, but on the pace of the Williams, this was probably fair. And, you know, they'll take another point. Keeps them well ahead of Alfa Romeo and Haas. They've got nothing to worry about. They've pretty much secured that 8th place, I think. Because I don't see Alfa Romeo scoring enough points to overtake them now. Outside the points, Stroll and Vettel will be disappointed. I think they both had the pace to score points and it just didn't go their way. Obviously, Stroll did make mistakes. Gasly and Tsunoda both had the points, which is disappointing for AlphaTauri. Ocon, you know, he's lucky he won a race because that's just about keeping him in touch with Fernando Alonso. Without that, he'd be miles behind, and you know, we'd be questioning whether he should be still in his seat. But Giovinazzi didn't really do anything, so I'm guessing his seat is still in danger. Mazepin and Schumacher were there as well. Schumacher on Latifi, the only retirements. Yeah, it was a fairly dull Russian Grand Prix. There really isn't that much more to say. I mean, there were overtakes, but it's all on DRS, and the rain really mixed things up. It's kind of one of those occasions where I didn't want it to be mixed up. I wanted to see if Norris could hold off Hamilton, and I really wanted Lando Norris to win. And it's very annoying that he didn't. I don't know if there's anything else. I mean, I've watched the first Formula 2 and Formula 3 races from Sochi already, and they were dull. Actually, all the action in the Formula 2 race happened before the race started, which was interesting. Other than that, Sochi is such a boring track. I don't know what the new track's going to be like. Hopefully it's going to be way more interesting than Sochi. Other than that, we've got 2 weeks till our next round, which is somewhere, I can't remember. Not too much left. I think there's only 6 rounds, 7 rounds. It's difficult because obviously they've still got a slot open from, was it Australia or Japan that cancelled last. It's a bit late to be replacing Grand Prix, but they still might because they want as many races as possible. Championship still wide open and not much changed. Hamilton now has a 2-point lead, and we go into the next round wherever that may be. This was a terrible video. I am so tired. Remember to subscribe. Thank you for watching and have a good one.